Hey y'all, it's Jen, and it is Saturday, and I hope y'all are doing super well and getting out, and I hope there's some sunshine where you are. Today I'm going to be walking you through making these embroidered photographs to make them kind of look like airmail envelopes. So the first thing you're going to need are some vintage black and white photographs. You can find these on Etsy or through fellow sellers on Instagram. You can use whatever you have on hand. I used baker's twine and embroidery thread. And the smallest needle you can use possible will be your best bet, because you won't have these ugly large holes left in your photographs. I had to learn that the hard way. So here I am, I'm just knotting my thread. I'm going to use two different types of thread. And what I'm going to do first to create my holes is to use an awl to poke the holes. And I'm using the border, the white border, as a guideline for poking my holes to keep them straight. And I'm poking them maybe about every 1/4 inch or so. And I'm also poking the corners as well. And make sure to have a cutting mat underneath your photograph. So I'm going to take my first thread, and I'm going to start kind of in an inconspicuous area. I picked the middle of the bottom, and I'm bringing my thread through, and what the trick is to make them look like they are at an angle is to skip a hole. Okay, see, I'm pointing at the next hole there. Don't bring your thread back through that one, bring it through the next one. So you're going to wrap your thread around to the back, and you are going to skip a hole and embroider through the next one and come out through the front. So you're wrapping it around. And make sure to straighten your stitches as you go and kind of pull them a little taut, not too tight, but you want to keep the tension appropriate so the thread stays nice and taut at an angle. And I taped my tail down with a piece of washi tape back there so that you don't poke it back through the hole. So again, I'm skipping holes. And when you get to the corner, you just wrap it around like you would normal. And I'm kind of holding it in place to help me so it doesn't loosen up. And I'm skipping that hole and going to the next one. Okay, my finger's still holding that last stitch in place. See how it stayed still like it was supposed to. So you go on as I described, stitching through every other hole. Sorry, my husband's doing some sawing in the background. Weekend projects. He's working on building a new chicken coop. So here I'm just trying to show you guys a few stitches. I'm doing this a couple times so you can see what I'm doing. If you guys see a scratch on my left hand, that's from my cat. She we rescued her from a shelter, and she doesn't have claws in her front paws. We call them her pom-poms. And she just has back claws, and she jumped off my wrist. Okay, so I'm going to use this last stitch, and I'm going to come back through my original stitch hole, okay? And I slowed this down so you can see what I'm doing. I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but this is the way I came up with. So now by doing this, you're going to get your last stitch to make that nice angle. So you're coming back out of your original hole. You're going to wrap your thread around, and you're going to stitch on that stitch. I mean, you're going to make a knot on that stitch right there where it meets. So I came out through my original stitch, but I'm going to knot it on the next stitch. I hope that makes sense. And I think as you work through it, you will realize how to do it. So I created a knot on that last stitch. I'm kind of holding the tail in place. Okay, and then I'm going to trim that tail, and you can wait until the end if you want to use a piece of washi tape to tape all your tails down at once, but I just did them individually so you see how you can keep them out of your way. So now I'm pulling my second thread because I kind of want them to have that airmail feel to them. And now I'm going to stitch these on the remaining alternative holes that I punched. At our last stitch to finish up this red and blue airmail inspired photograph. And again, like I showed you last time, on the last stitch you're going to come back through your original first stitch, and then you're going to pull it tautly, wrap it around, and then knot it on the next blue stitch. So I completed that knot, and I'm going to trim that tail off, and that would be a good opportunity for you all to tape all of your tails down with a piece of washi tape. So you can see what the final looks like. And in this version, I'm going to show you what it looks like to make one with baker's twine. And instead of doing the alternative holes, I'm going to just stitch each hole like right one after the other. So you're going to get a slight angle, but it's not going to look as angled as the other postcard with the red and blue. At this stage in the process, I noticed that I was running short on baker's twine, and I wanted to make sure that I went ahead and knotted it before I got started my new piece of thread, because depending on the length of your needle, if you wait too long, you won't be able to fit your needle into the loop to make that knot. So just keep an eye on that. So here I'm just going to show you me continuing, and I believe I just started the next hole with my baker's twine. I didn't have to come back through the last stitch or anything special like that. So here I'm almost done, and I want to make sure that you guys see one more time how I end the process for stitching these. So like I said before, I'm going to come back through the original hole, the original stitch. I'm going to come out. That's going to be my very last stitch so that it's still at an angle, and when I wrap around the next natural stitch that it matches up with, I'm going to knot that so that everything stays in place. So guys, that's it for my little tutorial, I guess you could call it. I originally got inspired because I bought some airmail envelopes from paper penny and rose papery, and so I thought, why not, make a border around a photograph to dress up a photograph in case you don't have these mailer envelopes. Please let me know what you think of these, and I would love if you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be trying to add more videos more regularly, so please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.